our Handmade Beauty Box subscribers. Hello everyone, my name's Anne-Marie from brambleberry.com, soapqueen.com, and handmadebeautybox.com. If you're just tuning in for the first time, Handmade Beauty Box is a crafty, do-it-yourself subscription box that you get every single month. It comes to your door complete and ready to use with easy to follow instructions like this, and everything you need to create beautiful do-it-yourself bath and beauty products at home. In fact, one of the questions we got for this month's box was, why did you send me sugar? I have white sugar at home. Like, why did you send me sugar? And the reason for that is quite simply, we're trying to make it easy for you. We do all the research, we do all the schlepping around, we do all the gathering of ingredients, so you don't have to. So if you stay watching to the end, if you're just watching and you're not a subscriber, there is a coupon for 10% off subscriptions that I will be flashing at the end. So make sure to stay watching until the end. This month's Handmade Beauty Box is a solid sugar scrub cube. It's a little bit of a soap. It's a little bit of an exfoliation. It exfoliates, it cleans, it moisturizes. And for those of you that may subscribe to Handmade Beauty Box because you want to potentially be a business in the future, this product also ships beautifully. Meaning when you ship it to your customers after you've made it, it arrives looking pretty similar to how you shipped it. These little cubes are adorable. The white sugar gently exfoliates, the soap cleans, and the oil that's in it leaves your skin feeling moisturized, silky, and smooth. This project was a very good value. It makes 36 cubes of solid sugar scrub, and there is enough soap left over that you can make a full 3 bars of melt and pour soap. The scent is fresh bamboo, and it's very clean, it's fresh smelling, it kind of smells like fresh jungle leaves, rainforest, jasmine, soft musk. It's a really good unisex fragrance. This month, your Handmade Beauty Box included 16 ounces of clear melt and pour soap, which is made with some vegetable oils like coconut and palm oil, safflower oil, glycerin, some oat protein, and is a nice clear. 8 ounces of sweet almond oil. And the reason we included sweet almond oil is because it's a nice, lightweight, fatty oil that has a very long shelf life and is also chock full of oleic and linoleic fatty acids, which are fantastic and renowned for their moisturizing ability. Your Handmade Beauty Box also included 18 ounces of white sugar. It is a mild exfoliant, and technically you can use sugar scrubs on the face, not just the body. You got 0.7 ounces of fresh bamboo fragrance oil, and you got some colorants, so Fire It Up Fuchsia colorant and Fizzy Lemonade colorant. You also received a dropper and rectangle molds with lids, and of course, the thing that I really appreciate about Handmade Beauty Box is you get labels to finish everything off. And I noticed a Periscope viewer just said lovely colors. Thank you. We really picked them out because they're spring and summer and really happy. So these are the labels for this month, and I think they look so cute on the finished project, like adorable. What you're gonna need from home is 2 small heat-safe containers, measuring spoons, and mixing container and mixing utensils. So stuff like this, and a non-serrated knife. The non-serrated knife is pretty important because if you try and cut our project at the end with a serrated knife, it ends up kind of crumbling. So having a non-serrated knife is pretty important. And Periscope, I see your comments about how much you love this project and the cute colors and how spring and summer is here and coming. So I'm excited that you guys love it. Let's get started making this project. So the first thing is when you get your project if you're a Handmade Beauty Box subscriber, your soap comes in kind of one giant chunk. So cut your soap into 8 equal parts. And so we have our soap here in 8 equal parts. And then you also cut your colorant into 4 equal parts. So your colorant was this right here, and I just cut these into 4 equal parts to make it easy. Measure out 12 tablespoons of sugar. And the 12 tablespoons of sugar ends up equaling just about, let's see, I want to kind of get this to you by weight and let you know. That's about 6 ounces in case you're doing everything by weight. So the first thing you do is you take 1 chunk of the soap base and you take 1 chunk of the colorant. So in this case, I am going to go with that Fired Up Fuchsia. And you add 5 tablespoons of sweet almond oil. So here we go with our sweet almond oil. And I'm just doing 5 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 tablespoons of sweet almond oil. And that 5 tablespoons of sweet almond oil is just about 2 ounces by weight. Now I'm going to take this over to the microwave and just melt it for about 35 seconds until this is melted. So, and this is a very little amount of soap. And when you're melting small amounts of soap and product, it's very easy to have them boil over. So make sure you really just put it in for 30 to 35 seconds. And yes, different microwaves will completely have different power amounts. So keep a good eye on this. Don't leave it in for over 35 seconds, and don't leave the soap base really unattended, because what ends up happening if you end up boiling this soap is it smells pretty badly. And it also makes the soap more yellow, and it also takes away some of the moisture, making the soap more brittle and making it more likely to shear when you try and cut it. So once this is done, we're going to add 2 milliliters of fresh bamboo fragrance, so not a whole lot. And you could add this at the very beginning if you wanted to. I added it right now just because I didn't want to microwave any of that delicate scent off. You'll notice that the oils and the melt and pour base have separated out. So go ahead and just give this a really quick stir. And then you guys, it is really going to be time to work fast. So I've already got my 12 tablespoons of sugar. They're already out here, and you just add it and you stir really fast, because if you don't stir really fast, the entire thing ends up glopping up on you. So then you have a really nice gloppy mixture. And you just glop this into your mold. And then you are done with this particular batch. And you have enough soap and enough color that you're going to be able to make 3 of these full, so 36 little tiny adorable cubes, and also 3 regular melt and pour bars of soap. And if you've never made melt and pour soap and you're like, well, wait, what do I do? All you do to make the melt and pour soap is you just melt this down in the microwave, add your color, add your fragrance, and then pour it into a mold. And for a mold, you can use anything from these molds, right? Because these molds that you got in your Handmade Beauty box this month can be reused. So you just pop this into the refrigerator. It sets up pretty quickly. You pull gently away at the sides, pop this out, and you can reuse it again for your soap. Or you can use like a really clean yogurt container or anything else that you have that has a little bit of give in it. And then if you're looking at this, you're like, oh, you know what? I'm worried. What if my mixture hardens up while I'm trying to make this? Not to worry. If the mixture hardens up, you can completely remelt this down, and you won't notice any decrease in quality or anything like that. If you'd like to make more sugar scrubs and you don't want to make the cute, adorable soap options that we've suggested, you can absolutely grab sugar from your own pantry and make more sugar scrubs instead of making more soap. So Courtney, do we have any questions? I see you're raising your hand.
Can you add more sugar if you want a rougher exfoliant?
Oh, can you add more sugar if you want a rougher exfoliant? So yes, you can add more sugar if you want a more rough kind of exfoliant. What you'll find is the more sugar you add, more than the proportions we've suggested in your instructions though, the faster this soap sets up. And there is a limit to how much sugar you can add before the soap, which kind of is acting like a binding agent or a glue in this case, before it won't work to really get your sugar kind of to adhere together. So there's a limit. I wouldn't do much more than about 25 to 30%. If you want it to be bigger, harder, like grind, you might consider doing something like a coffee or a walnut scrub or something else in there that won't break down in the shower if you're wanting it to be more scrubby. Oh, another question. Yes, yeah. Courtney.
What if you don't want to use sweet almond oil?
If you don't want to use sweet almond oil, if you have a nut allergy, so the reason I chose the sweet almond oil is because it is really lightweight, and it is really lightweight and it has a long-lasting shelf life. If you have any sort of nut allergy and you'd like to go with olive oil is a little bit heavier, so you may have to stir just a little bit longer to get that olive oil to mix in, but any lightweight liquid oil will work. A shea butter or a mango butter or a cocoa butter will not work. So you have to go with a lightweight liquid oil and just replace it at 100%. So in this recipe, I think we were using a full 5 tablespoons of the sweet almond oil, which is 2 ounces. So you'd use a full 5 tablespoons of the olive oil or the avocado oil or whatever liquid oil you chose. And Haley, we had a question that came in from Periscope.
Yeah, what about cold processed soap instead of melt and pour?
So could you use cold processed soap with this? You absolutely could use cold processed soap with this, and it's exactly the same technique. So for those of you that are watching that don't know what cold processed soap is where you make soap from scratch, and you have sodium hydroxide and water and oils like olive oil or coconut or palm oil. And through a process called saponification, you mix those together and they turn into soap. So if you're trying to do cold processed soap with this, you would just bring your soap to trace and then dump those same proportions of the sugar into the soap. I've made sugar scrubs, I've made sugar soap before, and what you'll end up finding is that the sugar usually will want to go to the bottom. And for cold processed soap, it doesn't cut nearly this cleanly. Like this cuts really cleanly. Cold processed soap tends to, in sugar and salt, when you add big grains, shear off at the bottom. But you absolutely could do this for a sugar cold processed soap. And interestingly enough, sugar helps to increase lather, so you might actually really like the lather that you get with that. Any other questions? So one of the questions I saw flitting across earlier, I think, was could you use salt with this? And if you wanted to use salt and you wanted to do it with melt and pour, what I find is that the salt really honestly, it makes a softer bar of soap that sweats. So salt is not ideal for this particular recipe. So that's one of the things you don't want to interchange. Another thing you probably don't want to interchange is the type of melt and pour base. This recipe works really well with this particular melt and pour base. Other bases have more surfactants in it, and the surfactants and the sugar don't necessarily play as nicely together. So to make this really cute, there are so many different packaging options. And I just saw someone on Periscope ask how long this needs to set. So this you can already see, it's still a little warm, but it's pretty set up. I would just toss this in the refrigerator for half an hour or leave it out on the counter for about 4 hours, and then this is ready to go. And it's ready to use right away. So packaging wise, there's some really cute packaging options that you can do. Like this is an adorable little spice container. I think it looks really cute. You can put them in mason jars, and the labels that came with the Handmade Beauty Box this month just look adorable with mason jars. Another option is these cute organza bags. So these are just little organza bags that have ribbons and have little ties. And you'll notice that there's a lot of different label options this month that list ingredients as well as listing what the item is. So front and back labeling. And you know what? I'll show you how to use these things too. I saw a comment from someone on social media that was like, this kind of felt like, I think the direct quote was like rubbing a marble on my skin or something like that. And so when you want to use one of these, all you do is just take it, and it is rather hard. So I like to just kind of smush it around, kind of make a little, like it smushes really nicely. So it makes really a nice semi-solid scrub. And then dip my finger and my hands or whatever you're using in a little bit of water, and then you just scrub like that. And you'll notice it gives a little bit of foam, and you can feel the exfoliation, and so it's cleansing gently because it's got the soap in there. It's moisturizing beautifully because it's got that sweet almond oil in there, and then it also rinses away really cleanly because of that soap and because of that sugar. So that's how you would use it. So I wouldn't just take like the hard little bar of soap and kind of just shove it all over your body, but definitely kind of soften it up and work it. Are there any other questions that came in? Okay. For those of you that are watching that aren't subscribers, here is a coupon code to get 10% off all subscriptions at handmadebeautybox.com, and I would love to see your creations. So if you're a Handmade Beauty Box subscriber and you are doing this project, nothing gives me more joy than seeing you guys post on our Facebook page, post on Twitter, or post on your Instagram accounts and hashtag us at either at Handmade Beauty Box or hashtag it HBB Show and Tell. And that's AND, Show and Tell. I would love to see your creations. And in the meantime, be reading our blog to get sneak peeks for upcoming projects and all kinds of fun spring inspiration. Until next time, guys, happy crafting.